Good evening, everybody. I'm so super excited about our call tonight. It's definitely one of my very, very favorite uplines. Rozalyn Payne is going to share with you tonight. Roz is Diamond, are you Diamond Senior Gold? Diamond Gold. Diamond Gold Ambassador. And she is going to share a little bit about her journey and then also some tips along the way that have helped her. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you, Roz.
Hey, great. Hi, guys. Hi. Thank you all so much for having me tonight. I'm very bundled up because this is the first cold day we've had here in Texas. So we take full advantage to like whip out the sweatshirts and do all this stuff. So I am cozy and I'm just tickled because I love cold weather. But my name is Rozalyn Payne, Diamond Gold Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide. I've been with Plexus since June of 2013. I live here in Dallas, Texas, a north suburb called McKinney. I've been married to my husband for 20 years and I have 2 kids. My daughter's 12 and my son is 15. And so when I started 3 years ago, you know, my kids were just about rolling into middle school and I was just your typical busy mom. I worked a full-time job. I had 2 jobs on the side. My husband worked full-time. I mean, we did everything we could at that time just to make ends meet. It was always a struggle. We were always shopping with coupons. We were always figuring out, you know, at what time of the month, which bill to pay. I mean, financial stress was just part of our life, which I know is part of a lot of people's lives. So when I was introduced to Plexus for the first time, it was from my best friend. A lot of y'all know her, Celeste Quinn. She had already lost about 35 pounds on Plexus. She had been taking it for about 6 months. And when she decided to sign up, I was the first person she called. And she's like, Roz, oh my gosh, you totally have to do this Plexus thing with me. And she was just talking and talking. And I was like, absolutely not. I was like, A, I don't do those network marketing things. B, I have no time. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I don't have time to do anything. I said, I don't have time to add another job on my list because I was already doing so much. I wasn't ever afraid of hard work because I always worked. And if we ever needed extra money, I would always jump in and figure out a way to make it. But at that time, I had zero belief in network marketing. I had never done it before. And it just sounded cheesy to me because of what I thought the business was. So she said, all right, you know, but would you at least just try the products? Well, I said, no, because at the time, I was just very skeptical. I didn't understand what the products were. I have a heart condition. It's called paroxysmal atrial tachycardia, PAT for short. And it's where my heart would take off in irregular beats, going about 180 to 200 beats a minute. And these episodes would last about a half an hour. And sometimes medications or just things I might take over the counter prescription would set my heart off a little bit. And so I told her, I said, you know, my heart thing, I really don't want to try anything like this. She goes, well, do me a favor. At least take the ingredients, if you don't mind, when you see your doctor next and just see what they say. So being her best friend, I was like, all right, I'll do this for you. And, you know, I ended up showing this list to 3 people in the medical community. You know, first doctor showed it to. He was like, there's nothing in these ingredients or in any of these products that can hurt you. And my second one was a naturopath that my son sees. And he said, you know, there's ingredients in these products that I give to your son. And then the last person was a holistic health coach down in Dallas, dear friend of mine. She had worked at an ad agency with me at one point, and she was ready to shoot holes in it. She liked it so much. She was like, I'm actually kind of interested in this. And now she's an Emerald ambassador on my team. So, you know, I was getting all these nods. I was getting all these, okay. So I decided to try it. I tried the pink drink. The first day it felt, you know, okay. The second day I felt that sustained energy that everybody talked about. And I felt good, and there wasn't the heart race, and there wasn't like I drank a lot of caffeine, and I've never drank an energy drink, but I can't even imagine what that would do to my heart. But I just told, you know, I was like, okay, I see why everybody's really liking this. Well, in the meantime, you know, this had been a couple months in, she'd been selling. She had signed up successfully, either signed up or had a customer, almost every one of my close friends in our circle that we all ran around with. So I was thinking, even if I did this, who in the world, would I talk to? Of course, not really understanding how network marketing works. But I wasn't completely sold out at this time even. I just knew, okay, I understand I could probably take the products. Well, it was my husband that approached me that finally said, hon, I'm seeing all over Facebook how all of your friends are doing very well with these plexus businesses. And obviously the products are working. You like the products. Why don't you just give this a try? And I started giving him the same reasons I gave Celeste. And he's like, we could really use the money. I have a son, he's high functioning on the autism spectrum, and he was needing a new therapy that was being offered here in Dallas. And it was going to be $1,000 a month out of pocket. Well, we didn't have that. Gosh, we definitely didn't have that laying around. And I was just really scared for him to not have the opportunity to have this therapy. And then it made us feel less than his parents because we couldn't even offer it to him. And in no way were we going to be able to, could we have figured out how to scrape together $1,000 a month. So it was just, that was kind of a game changer a bit, because, when people, or my husband was even saying, do this for us or do this for you or whatever, that was easy to blow off. But the minute he brought my son into the game, it was a kind of a bit of a game changer. I was like, okay, wait a minute. If we're going to do this for him, okay, I'm willing to give it a shot. Because all of you moms and dads know out there that if you ever you're doing anything for your child, you'll knock down walls for that child. And that's how I felt about Colton. I wanted him to have the opportunity. And I thought, okay, we will probably make a couple $100 at this max. And we're just going to have to pray through the rest, because I have no idea how this is going to happen. So I called Celeste. I said, okay, girl, I'm in. I'm going to do this. And she was like, oh, this is awesome. And so I got out a pad of paper and I took down one sheet of notes. And then the next day I just took off with the business. I remember it being pretty overwhelming when I started. I remember not quite knowing what I was doing, but I knew what my goal was. I knew what my why was. So I was driven in the fact of I wanted to make this work. My first full month with Plexus, I made $1,200. And I was floored. I was floored not only because of the first 1,000 that was able to cover the procedure, but that extra $200, that $200 was hope for me. That extra $200 said, oh my gosh, you can do so much more with this. You could potentially be home with your kids. Now that is something I never imagined. I'd worked for, at this time, 18 years in advertising. I was an advertising executive. I even owned a small ad agency at one point. And the recession of 2007 completely wiped us out. And so I just assumed I was going to be working for the rest of my life. Me being an at-home or a mom, getting to stay at home, that was never in the cards for me. Never even that. I didn't even let myself daydream about that, because in my mind, it could never happen. And now this $200 was telling me, hey, what if you did work this like all your friends are doing? I mean, y'all, my friends were showing me paychecks. They would come up with their pay stubs and like show it to me like, Roz, look at this. And I was like, y'all are crazy. And then they would show me the next month and it was so much bigger. I'm like, okay, this is not cool, because I work my butt off every day at an office for somebody else, for a boss in a cubicle. And you guys are out lunching and having fun and laying out by the pool. And you're making these unbelievably huge checks. I mean, it really blew me away. And it wasn't just a couple friends, y'all. It was my whole circle of friends, and they were all successful at this. So, I told Celeste, okay, I know I can get this one bill covered. Now I want to be home. I want to be home with my kids. I want to do it. And from that day forward, I just kind of drew my line in the sand and I took off. From the day I started, 9 months, I went emerald. 2 months after that, I went sapphire. And 3 months after that, I went diamond. I know it went fast. I just, I had some momentum, and I had a lot of players that I ended up signing on my team that really wanted the business. And we all just locked arms and did it together. It's been unbelievable what it's been able to do for my family. All the pomp and circumstance around the ranks and the trips and the cars and all that stuff is fabulous. But if you've ever wanted out of a situation where you feel trapped, a job, a boss that's stressful, kind of a career that's really not going anywhere, but you don't have any choice because you need that paycheck, this was such a godsend for me. This was an opportunity that completely changed my life, my children's life. After I guess I'd been an ambassador for 10 months, I was able to retire from my career in advertising. I remember the day I walked out with my little box in my hand. It was the best day. I'm now, this is my 3rd year in the business. I've now been home for 2.5 years and get to be the mom I've always wanted to be. I get to, work my, you all know how it is. I work my biz from here, and, I'm able to also do this alongside of all my friends. I mean, my whole circle. My kids go to a school. It's a Christian school here in McKinney. We have 600 students from pre-K to 12, and there's 10 diamonds that go to that school. 10. I mean, when people always say that, Roz, is my market tapped? Absolutely not. My biggest teams are in Boise, Idaho, Amarillo, Texas, and pretty much the state of Alabama. Those are my largest teams. They're not local. I have some local teams, but most of my teams are out and about. So whenever people say that this market's tapped, you guys have no idea who in your networks or from your past relationships or your past teams or schools or whatever, you have no idea who needs this and who is willing to work it like a business and want to lock arms with you and spread the love of a company that is absolutely changing lives. Never had a job in my life where I changed lives until now. I was an advertising executive. I used to buy airtime on TV, radio, online, print, outdoor for my clients' commercials to run. So my job was helping these big CEOs, build their businesses bigger. British Airways, TGI Fridays, Earth Grains Bread, Owen's Country Sausage. I worked for all these kinds of companies. Dr. Pepper, I worked for them for a year. And not one time in my career did I ever feel like I was doing something that meant something, that changed somebody's life. And now every single day, I'm doing something. I'm the conduit to getting products in people's hands that are changing their lives. That brings me so much peace, and that drives me so much more than any other job I've ever had. So to be able to have a job that's that fulfilling and that compensates us as well as they do, it's the complete perfect storm. And to me, it is worth working tooth and nail for. I've never had an opportunity like this in my life. I've never done network marketing ever, but I'm not afraid to share what I like. And that's pretty much what I've done here. And then I've just kind of shared this with a lot of other folks who were where I was and where my family was and struggled and didn't want to be there anymore. And I knew through seeing through my friends and everybody else that I was meeting through Plexus, if these folks can do it, I can do it. Celeste Gwynn, she's never had a job a day in her life. And she is the most successful Plexus ambassador in Plexus history because she had a network and she shared with wild abandon. And she wasn't afraid of what others thought. To this day, she's not. And that's really helped her succeed in this business. So that's kind of, my story of how I got where I am. My why has changed from where I started to now. And my why now was just to help my closest friends get to where I am, because there's nothing more fun than doing this, but doing this with all your best friends, because it's a blast. So you have answer your questions from me were tips, correct?
Yeah, so it's just kind of share. I like to share tips, maybe like some struggles you have had along the way and kind of how you have overcome them. That's something I always like everyone to share.
Great. I think probably if I were to look at a struggle or somewhere that I skinned my knee and that I don't want you guys to have to make the same mistake, one of my biggest ones was I was afraid at the beginning to share with everybody. I shared with who was comfortable. I shared with my best friends. I shared with people who I knew wouldn't tease me or make fun of me, or, I was working from a different place at that time. And what I came to find out was that by not sharing with absolutely everybody, I was missing out on huge pockets of people who needed this business. There were so many people in my circles that I completely prejudged. Our pastor's wife, amazing woman. She's a writer, she's a speaker, she's fabulous. I was like, I'll never reach out to her. She totally doesn't need this. Well, guys, a year in, she ended up signing up on somebody else's team and is now a Ruby ambassador. She didn't even know I was a Plexus ambassador because I never told her. And I hid her from a lot of my stuff because I didn't want all my church people to see this because I thought I'd be bothering them. Okay, now I realize that was a huge disservice because there's 4 people at that church that are all now Rubies or higher that potentially could have joined my team. But I prejudged them and thought that they didn't need it for one reason or another. You have no idea, you guys, who's struggling with what. I never knew how sick my friends were before Plexus. I never knew how financially strapped people were. That's a very private thing, and it's something that we all don't usually share with people unless they're our absolute closest friends. So a lot of people just put up this front as if they're totally fine financially, when really they are struggling hard. And just the idea of having a little something on the side like this can completely be a game changer for them. I mean, if all they need is to pay that one car payment, that's all they need so they don't go under. Guys, that's making a car payment with this business is a piece of cake, you know? And so now, I mean, it actually happened when I was in Hawaii year before last. One of my friends and a sideline friend on another team, completely outside of Power Team, reached out to me. We were in the lobby of the hotel, and she said, hey, I just want to let you know that one of your friends reached out. And we just knew we had this mutual friend, reached out to me and is interested in the business. Had you ever presented this to her? And I said, I don't know if I did. I said, I think she's bought from me before, but I'm not sure. I'll have to go back and look. So that night I was just, doing whatever. And I pulled her up and I had given her product about a year prior, but I never followed up. I never presented the business opportunity. So she went and joined on the other girl's team. Guys, I mean, I tell you what, sharing with wild abandon, you are just showing that you care about people. If you know that these products could take place of somebody's prescription medications that they're taking every day of their life, why would we not share that? Have you guys ever had a customer say, I wish I would have known about these products before, a month ago, a year ago? I wish I would have had this business opportunity 2 years ago. I hear this from people on my team. And that just teaches me a lesson every time I hear it, to continue to start reaching out and doing everything I can to share with everybody in my circles. That would be probably one of my big struggles. Second struggle, my longest journey was between silver and gold. At that time, that's the time when you're building the foundation of your team. And at the beginning, it was very easy for me just to want to sign up anybody who absolutely wanted to join my team. Oh yeah, I'll just sign you and you and you and you. And I realized after I'd been in it for about a year and a half that, if you're really strategic about who you're signing up and you are talking to people who really want the business, and then wrapping your arms around them, teaching them how to find their resources, teaching them how and where to research things on their own. If you do that from the onset, you are going to build a very strong, independent team. If you are doing everything for your downline all the time, they're going to always expect you to do that work, do the trainings, do the meetings. And you are almost kind of doing the business for them, and they don't get to really learn, therefore duplicate what you've taught down to their downline. That's happened to me before, where there was a certain downline of mine, and I just, by habit, just kept taking care of them. They asked me, would you come do a meeting? Sure, I would do a meeting. Roz, could you do your presentation? Sure, I'll do that. Hey, Roz, can you talk to my level 1? Sure. And after a while, this person, everybody was skipping over that person and going to me, and all their downline was almost like my downline. And I realized, okay, I kind of enabled that situation to happen. Shame on me for doing that. I should have said, hey, no, let's do that call together. Let's do that training together. Hey, you know what? I know you know that answer, or I know you know where to find that answer. So give it a shot. Check on the pages, go to the little search icon and type in migraines and see what you can come up with. If you still are stumped, come back and I'll help you. The more I would train my people how to find resources, y'all, that's a pretty big game changer. I get questions all the time from people about very broad, basic. I got one on my team page today. Somebody said, hey, do our products help people with autoimmune issues? And I kind of giggled. I was like, well, and I went back to them and I said, hey, if you go ahead and type that into the search box up at the top, you're going to find a myriad of really good testimonies and information. So give that a shot. If you still feel like you hit a brick wall, reach back to us and we'll help you out. 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, oh my gosh, I found so much. Thank you. Thank you. So I just saw someone pop up a message and it came up on my screen, so I'll answer it. Somebody said, what's a really good cold message that you do? Something that I've realized really as of late, and it's really been great because now that our phones have the little microphone option now on texts, is that when I reach out to people now, I try to reach out via voice message in lieu of texting or typing or writing them something. And I'm finding that, people will react to something based on your passion and your voice and your excitement rather than just reading a slated invitation. Here's an example. These are the same messages given 2 ways. Okay, you text somebody, hey, I'm sure you've seen my plexus posts. These products are amazing. I'd love for you to give these a shot. I think they could really help with your eczema. And I know your husband's about to be laid off. So if you're interested in any side income, there's an amazing opportunity for you to make money. Give me a shout. I'd love to talk to you about it. If somebody reads that, they're like, yeah, there's somebody else. Then you leave a voice message, same voice message. Hey, oh my gosh, I know you've seen me freaking out about plexus all over Facebook, but listen, these products are amazing. And I know for a fact these things can help you with that eczema. Call me. Let me talk to you about it. And your husband's being laid off. Oh my gosh, let me help you bring in a little side income because you can do it very quickly. Give me a call. I can totally hook you up. Okay, those 2 messages were exactly the same, but one was delivered with passion, with your own verbiage, with your own kind of twist. Now, a lot of people might not talk that way, but everybody has their own style. Everybody has their own, nuance of the way in which they communicate to their family, their friends. Now, if I was leaving a message for, say, somebody in my church congregation, or maybe one of my past business executives, that message might be a little different. But I might say, hey, Jenny, it's been so long since we've talked. I see that you're still working at NBC, and you're doing fabulous. You've always been somebody I've admired, and I'm not going to lie, I keep thinking about you. And I know you've seen my plexus posts, and I've been at this for a while, and I've become pretty successful at this. I would love it for you to take a stab at this. Or you could say, I think you would be amazing at this, and let me tell you why. You've always been an influencer. You've always been somebody who was strong in leadership. That's what makes up the successful people in this business. If you have any inkling of trying something different or something on the side, give me a shout because you'd be amazing. That's a very simple message. I've complimented their strengths. I've told them why they would be good at this, not why they should join my team, come do this with me. I've taken the ownership off of me and put it on them and said, this is what it could do for you. This is how I see this working for you. This is why I think you would be amazing at this. And just blow that belief into people and really sincerely do this with people that you sincerely feel are leaders in the community, at your church, at the school, maybe leaders in your past life, friends that just always had a big circle around them, always had a strong, sphere of influence. Guys, those are going to be your successful ambassadors. Those are the people that are going to be, your strong legs of your stool for this foundation of your team. And you just get a few of those guys and your team can explode. People will say often, I just know all these, diamond ambassadors have hundreds of level 1s. Not me. You guys, I probably have 45 level 1s, maybe in 3.5 years. Only about 15 to 20 of them are really working the business. 12 of them are rocking the business. Now, I've had close to 28,000 people sign up on my team since I've started. Guys, a lot of white lines. This is since I started. This is on my list, on my report. That's insane. But that came out of this this group of 40 people, really a group of 20, because a lot of those were wholesale ambassadors. 20 people had strong enough networks to expand their network and expand and expand and expand. And that's how it works. To be a diamond in this business, it only takes 7 level 1s, 7 active level 1s. So do you know 7 people? I mean, all of us do. Do you know 7 people that are strong enough to lead a team, that have integrity, that have, strong morals, that are people that others would be willing to follow, that others would look up to as a leader, look up to for their, to learn from and to emulate. Those are the kinds of people that you want, as power leaders in your team. And we all know those people. And a lot of times in life, to be completely honest, those people intimidate us, because we might not be like that. But hey, and you know what? Another thing, you don't always have to be the loudest talker in the room or the outgoing one or the one that is okay behind the microphone to be a successful Plexus ambassador at all. There are so many successful leaders, even diamonds, that are they're quieter, they're wise, they listen. They are not the, look at me and all over Facebook and all this stuff. They run their business like a business. That's okay. You don't have to be the loudest person in the room or the one that's, bouncing off the walls to be the successful ones. All Plexus is basically, it's a network marketing business that is offering you the moon. There's no ceiling to what you can make financially with Plexus. So if you have any drive, if you have people that have any drive to make this a success, to make this a career, it's kind of like the world's your oyster. I tell my team, I'm like, you guys have this golden egg in your hands. You have this opportunity. Don't squander it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you're, read network marketing books or not read or studied or this or that or have a degree. There's all walks of life that are jewel ambassadors with Plexus, all walks. So do your best not to just already prejudge yourself or others, because guys, there's so many out there. There's so many out there that are in the future will be leaders on your team. And what's going to be cool is for you to look in about a year from now at some of the leaders on your team. There will be someone on your team that rises up as a leader that you never thought would have done it, that you might have prejudged in your head. You're like, they might do okay. And then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, they're amazing. So be careful not to prejudge on that. I know I'm going on wild goose chases here. I do this sometimes, so I apologize, y'all.
No, I love it. So much good information. Okay, so someone asked here, and I was actually going to ask that too. How do you work? Because you worked like several jobs, and you were still, I don't think you quit your job until what, Emerald, Sapphire?
Well, I was Sapphire. I turned in my resignation at Senior Ruby, but we had a contract. I was working for my children's school to help them. They go to this private school, but I had to work there full time to be able to cover their tuition. If I had quit mid-year, I would have had to pay back the tuition. So I resigned in February, but I had to stay till May. That was painful. And another girl in my office did the same thing. She's also a diamond ambassador with Plexus. Our desks faced each other. And then one of the teachers, Laura Clow, also did the same thing. All 3 of us resigned at the exact same time, and we all had to wait till school ended before we left. Yeah, guys, our school loves us, let me tell you. This mass exodus where all of us left working that year. Yeah, it was a good times. Good times. But hey.
So share, because I love, a lot of people are like, I don't have enough time. I work a full-time job. How did you work your business? I mean, when you're working all these other jobs and then kind of fitting Plexus in, how did you make that fit into
Well, for one thing, you have to be organized. And I also say this too to women of small children that have lots of small children at home, because I know darn well that that's just like a full-time job. You need to put yourself on the calendar and you need to get yourself organized. So what I would do is right at the beginning, there was a Saturday, and I woke up a couple hours before my family, and I sat down, and my goal was to get this business organized. You guys have a business now, so it's like you're starting a brand new business from scratch. And I made files on my computer. I made files for different categories. I had one called Slim, one called ProBio 5, one called BioCleanse. And any information I would find that I liked on that, any documents or anything, I would save in these files. I also wrote out an email as if it was an answer to somebody saying, hey, what's Plexus? and I wrote out an answer to it, and I sent it to myself. And then I made files on my phone, and one of them was called Plexus Forwards, and I put it in there. And then I did another one on what does it mean to become a Plexus ambassador? I did another one on nursing testimonies. I did another one, all different categories of questions I was getting a lot. I put those in this forwards file. So if I was at work and somebody emailed me and said, hey, or inbox, hey, I'm interested in information on Plexus. At my lunch break, I would go sit down, pull up my email, put in there, so hit forward and send, and go back to work. Y'all, it's simplified, and I went back one day and looked. I mean, there was so many. I must have sent out 50 of those of the what is Plexus. And then as every month went by, I changed it a little bit because I was talking about how much I made. I was very honest in that email because I wanted them to know. I wanted to give them real numbers. I was realizing that a lot of people thought we made like $200 a month. People didn't really realize how much money we made. And I knew in an email I could say that. I couldn't put it on Facebook. And oh goodness, there's a puppy dog barking. And so I got myself very organized that way. I made sure every morning that lunchtime, and at dinner that I always posted. I did this because, guys, there's completely different audiences at different times of the day. Completely different audiences. You have, there's some people like teachers, they are not even really teachers, I guess they can be at a computer, but people who work in retail or nurses that are not allowed at a computer with Facebook at all until the evening and when they get home. So make sure that you're putting up a post in the morning, doing one midday, and doing one in the evening. I was methodical about it. I made sure I did that every day. On my lunch break, I used that lunch break as a work break every day. Sometimes I would sit in my car. Sometimes I would just sit because I could at my desk while I was eating, and I would just be on my phone. I would find good posts. I would save them into my little files on my phone, or just save them. A tip I heard recently that was pretty cool. Sorry, my husband's out there. Oh, he's leaving to go get my daughter. Okay, bye. You can make a Facebook page for yourself. It's just your own Facebook page, and call it information and testimonies. And then every time you find something good, save it onto your page so it's easily accessible. You can save graphics, you can save files, you can save all kinds of things. That way it's on Facebook at all times. So if you're at someone else's computer or you're traveling or anything, you can access it very easily. Really cool way to keep all your stuff organized. But I was just, you guys, it's just all about organization. And then I told another thing, as I started to gain ambassadors, I told them when they could reach me. I said, guys, you know I'm working full time, but you can reach me between 12 and 1. You can reach me in the evenings from 8 to 9. And other than that, this is where how you can find information, and this is where you need to go for resources. I mean, I taught them early on how to find their information on their own. They had to. I didn't have an option. I couldn't train them fully in person, but I sure could lead them to where training was. I also tried to schedule at least an opportunity meeting a week. And guys, I tell you what, I knew in the beginning, I knew that there was going to be sacrifices made. I was talking, if you guys know Susie and Chris McCall, Susie and I were talking at Leaders Retreat, and somebody walked up to us, some newbie, and they was like, Susie, how do you balance it all? I just started, how do you balance it? And she's like, oh, there's no balance at the beginning. She's like, because there has to be sacrifices if you want to go to the top fast. And it was very interesting because I had never said that before, but I was realizing in my own life and in my own journey that I did sacrifice. My sacrifices weren't, let's be honest. I was watching TV, like from the minute I put my kids to bed until like 11 o'clock every night. Okay, that wasn't that big of a sacrifice for me to let go of that television. But what I gained from letting go of that was unbelievable. Because you guys know how it is when you're working and all of a sudden someone's like, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to go ahead and join your team. Give me your link to sign up. And you're like, oh my gosh, that was awesome. And you get this adrenaline. You're like, that's all it took was me reaching out to one person. What if I reach out to 10 people tonight? What if I reach out to 10 and 2 more people said they want to sign up? And I mean, your wheels just get spinning. That's kind of how it was. I let the excitement of the business and the growth and my dream drive me so that I was okay sacrificing nighttime TV. I was okay, maybe sacrificing a couple hours on the weekends, telling my family, okay, give me these 2 hours. Give me these 2 hours to just kind of crank on my business this weekend, and then we'll all go out to dinner. I mean, I worked to try to get the buy-in from my family. Carrie Wilkerson talked about this at Leaders Retreat and in Hawaii when she spoke to us about getting a buy-in from your shareholders. I like that terminology. I had never used that terminology before, and I think it was brilliant. And that just means for your spouse, your family, whoever it is you're living with at that time, make sure that everyone's on the same page and they understand what your dream is with this, and that they're willing to help you out, to help you achieve that. And if you get everybody involved in building the dream, then the dream is that much more glorious for everybody to celebrate when you guys achieve it. You know what I mean? And for me, for telling my kids that, guys, if I do this, mommy gets to stay home with you guys. And they understood it, but they only knew me as working mom. But that day when I was able to walk out and take them to the pool at 10 in the morning on a Tuesday, they understood really quick that, oh my gosh, this has changed our life. So does that answer some, Ange?
No, that was wonderful. I love that. And that's what I love about this business, is it's really something that we can fit into the nooks and crannies of our lives. And I think that, a lot of people think because maybe they work a full-time job or they have this busy schedule that they don't have enough time for plexus, but it's really making time for what's important to you and, cutting off I'm sure if we all wrote down our schedule, there is something that we're doing that's kind of senseless, like watching TV, or something that we can cut out in order to work our plexus business.
Scrolling on Facebook. How many hours
yes.
you just sit on Facebook and just try to see what's going on? You treat Facebook like your Fox News or your CNN, and you just go and you end up, searching. And after about an hour of you watching 3 senseless videos and, reading just junk, you're like, well, that was a couple hours of my day I can't get back. That's a very easy thing that can pull us away. I think social media as a whole, whether it's, whatever social media platform that you're on, it can really pull us away from doing, income producing anything with our business. So really, if you want this as a business, it's there for the taking. You just have to be committed enough to say, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to let anybody get in my way. I'm not going to let these, haters who might make fun of me or dog one of my posts, I'm not going to let them take away the opportunity that my kids have for me to be home with them. It's so much more valuable, my kids' desires and needs, than somebody's opinion that I sat next to in 3rd grade that's now my Facebook friend. I think a lot of us, we get kind of wrapped up in that. I'm reading one of those notes on the side here, Angie, and somebody asked what I lead with, business or products. Guys, I don't do one or the other specifically. I lead with whatever I feel the potential that I'm speaking to needs the most. If it is somebody that's been complaining and talking about lethargy and being exhausted and not being able to handle their children and not being able to, be a good wife and mother, I'm going to talk to them about what our products can do for their energy and how they can make them feel better. If somebody comes to me and says anything about the financial aspect of it, or I know personally that they could use that. Now, let's say it's a flat out cold message. I go after both. I tell them about, really quickly what the products do. Because it's either an email or a voice message, I can say some things that are not as compliant that we can't put on social media, but I can say, hey, do you know anyone who struggles with any autoimmune disorders? Hashimoto's, Lyme disease. Do you know anybody who has severe migraines, ADD, ADHD, anything of that nature? If so, let me know. I've got some products that are unbelievable that could potentially help them. And, they could try them out for a couple months and get all their money back if it doesn't work. So, if you know anybody this could help, let them know I'm here. I'd love to chat with them, and that might be how I tell them about the products. And they're like, oh yeah, you've been doing this for us as a business, right? And I'm like, it's unbelievable. It's completely changed my family. I'm now making, 5 figures a month. Unbelievable. I'm making more a month now than I was making as a year as a media director downtown Dallas. The sky's the limit, and there's no ceiling with this. And I said, the coolest part is I don't have to do parties or anything like that. I just send people to my website. So if you're interested, let me know. It's a great way to have a side business or a career. that might be a way that I share with somebody both the product and the business. I know some people have different opinions on this. So just kind of listen to all the different styles, listen to the different opinions, because these opinions are coming from successful people. So they've built their businesses this way. Some say they lead with business 100% every time. Others are a lot more product driven, and they are because that's the industry in which they came from. They might have been a nurse, so they have credibility. They might have been a dietitian, so they have credibility. So of course, they're going to come rolling in with the product because that's where their most credibility is. For me, I'm from the corporate world, and I was able to quit a high-level corporate job and create this into my career. So speaking to the business of this is much more my center and much more easy for me to communicate. So I'm more comfortable sharing that because that's my biggest testimony. So whatever feels comfortable at the time, go for it. And you can try both out and see which fits better for you and which feels more comfortable. I'm reading down to see if there's any of these other ones that have, let's see. I'm reading these. I think some of them are just people talking to each other, but I'm just making sure. I want to answer y'all's questions because I see there's a handful here, and I want to make sure that I'm answering everything that you guys, I think that's all of them that are up here, Ange.
But I think that on that, how did you do that? They were referring to when you said that you have like a Facebook page. Is it just like a page that you
yeah,
set
you guys
up?
just start a page just like you have a team page. Start a page and just I might call it Roz's info, and make it private so nobody can get there except for you. If you go on, like I could even go on here right now. I'm looking on Facebook right now to see where it is. It should be on the side. Okay, you guys see this? Let me see if it's coming up. Okay, there you can kind of see it. See how you have the list?
Mm-hmm.
And there should be, when I scroll down, an opportunity to make a new page. That's it. That's all I do. And I just start it up and just load it up with pictures with it. And too, you can also do that with a friend, you guys. Get a couple partners that you've locked arms with that are totally legit and totally have your same style of running a business and like to be strategic and like to research. Find a few of you guys and just start a page. Just call it something, and it's where the three of you just dump great information together, and it's a great holding cell for stuff. Or a lot of people are doing these, I see, with their spouses. People who've signed up with their spouse, since they can't talk all day, they can share information on the page that each of them can go share with their networks, which I thought was kind of creative too. I liked that idea. That was neat.
Yeah, I love that idea. I've never thought about that before because I do like, I mean, I saved mine completely different, but that would be so much easier to have it there, and then it's all there at one page. And you, like you said, you could add in a little sideline partner or whatever that you wanted to do it together.
You know what? I think you told me the first leaders retreat about messaging, didn't you?
Yes, I messaged it to myself.
Yes, Angie taught me this one, and I still do it to this day. We were at a breakfast at Leaders Retreat, and we were all sharing ideas, and I wanted a really cool post, and Angie's like, well, just send it to yourself. I'm like, what do you mean? And she goes, just inbox yourself the message. And she pulls up her phone and scrolled through hers and showed me just lists of fabulous posts and photos. And we did that back before they allowed you to copy text in Facebook. Remember that, Ange?
Uh-huh.
And I was like, Angie, that's brilliant. But to this day, I still do it because it's so quick. It's like, I'll just find it. I'm like, I'll just text that or message that to myself. When I see a post, y'all, going around a lot, I don't save it. I'm sorry, I don't repost it because I don't want to be yet another person that my circles are scrolling past. At one point, I was making folders of days of the week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And when I would find a cool post, I would just throw it in a random day of the week. And then when that day of the week comes around on Monday, I open up Monday and I just start posting whatever I put in that file. I would always try to mix them all up because, again, like there might be an amazing post that the McCalls might have done, or that, Tamara Holloway might have done, or, Andrea Mitchell might have done, and everybody loves it and everybody's sharing. Well, if you guys have some of the same circles, they're going to be like, oh, that's just another plexus post, and they're not going to stop and resonate on it and think about it. So try to kind of spread those out, you guys. Save them. I have like at least 30 saved that I've seen going around that I just wait for a day when I'm like, I don't really have anything to post. I'm going to go there and just kind of share some of those. So.
Yeah, well, like if I see one that's going around a bunch, I'll wait like 2 weeks, 3 weeks out, and I schedule it on Buffer.
Yes, absolutely. That's another fabulous idea. I love it. I love it. So if you guys haven't used Buffer, talk to Angie about it. I mean, that's a fabulous way to for working. And you know, we were moving so fast, we all didn't understand Buffer back when I started in 2013. There was a lot we didn't understand. We didn't have training. We didn't have a lot of the really awesome stuff you guys have now. And so I would say more than anything for you guys, as you are building teams and you do have some downlines, your number one thing to focus on always should be training. Because there's a lot of ambassadors that you might be meeting through your old networks where you are the only plexus ambassador they know. So if you're not posting or sharing or training, they're not going to post or share. They're going to do whatever you're doing. If you say, well, gosh, I just signed up myself, I don't know how to train, that's okay. Reach to your upline and tell them that. Say, hey, we're brand new. I've got can you help me train? Yeah, let's do a 3-way call. Hey, I'm really a little nervous. I want to talk to some people, but I don't really know what to show them. Hey, talk to your upline. They'll get your hands on a PowerPoint or something to share. Hopefully when you guys signed up, you got a success kit. I tell you what, if you want to be really, really a go-getter, write your own training, write your own PowerPoint, and you do it off of this, guys, off the Quick Start Guide. So easy. It's got 10 steps on how to start your business. If you guys have seen this, make each slide one of these numbers. Piece of cake. Number 1, be a product of the product. Number 2, get to know your ambassador success kit. So easy. You've just made a PowerPoint presentation, 10 slides, boom. That's all you need to train all your newbies. And then you train your newbies to go to their welcome kit and learn what they can out of it. Y'all, there's so many resources that we have now that enable you to either share other people's trainings or create your own. Or here's another idea. Say you watch a training and you think it's fabulous, or you watch a video, a 10-minute video, and you're like, that's really great. But I know my downline would like to hear from me because they see me as the leader. Recreate that video, guys. Go ahead. Recreate it in your own words. Write it, or jot it down, write it, just video it, piece of cake, post it on your page. There's so many easy ways. We don't have to reinvent the wheel is what I need to say. I don't want you guys to have to come up with completely new strategies of this and that. Guys, we're kind of the pioneers in this, and we've paved the way. And so we just want to serve it up to you guys and say, guys, just share. Just get out there and share and train your folks how to do the same thing. That's all you got to do to be successful at this. That's it. Be comfortable with sharing. And the more comfortable you are, and the more you can get out of your own way and your own pride and be bold enough just to share, you guys, the sky's the limit. I mean, and once when you start hearing no's, it means you're doing the right thing. It means you're sharing. It means you're actually getting out there, and you're going to hear no's. I mean, and after a while, those no's are not going to sting as much. They won't embarrass you. You're going to be like, okay, because every no is leading me to another yes. And I know that sounds like a cliche, but it's so true. That's just kind of how the biz works. Now, I know it's 9:30 and we've been in an hour. I don't know what your time is on this, Angie. I want to make sure that I'm not keeping your folks too long.
Yes, we are going to wrap it up because I usually keep it right at 1 hour. But I just want to thank you. Thank you so much for being such a huge inspiration to me and to so many people on our team. And thank you so much for taking your time out to pour into us tonight. We all love you to pieces. And I cannot wait to see you when I come to Texas and just.
I know, Angie. I'm so excited. I'm excited for the holidays. Well, thank you guys so much for having me tonight. You have an amazing leader in Angie. She's one of my dear friends, and she's just fabulous. So you guys, have a great week. Thanks again for having me, guys. Good luck and go Plexus. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.